The world's strongest man versus a karate black belt. What is going to happen when they spar? I have to admit, I'm super curious, and today we're going to look at video footage of Jesse Enkamp, who is a YouTuber slash karate black belt, versus Eddie Hall, who is the strongest man alive. So Eddie Hall, I think we can all learn something from seeing the sparring footage today, because so many people see somebody big at the gym and they go, whoa, I don't want to spar that dude. And this guy, this Englishman, is best known for his world record setting 500 kilo, that's 1,102 pound deadlift. He was also known for winning the world's strongest man competition in 2017. He is only 6'2", and his weight ranges between 313 pounds and 434 pounds. So the very first thing that I want to comment on is when he's in front of Jesse and he starts with the body protection on Jesse, he starts giving him 10% power, 20% power, 30% power. And what you're going to note is, while his power, yes, is probably very, very impressive, when he hits Jesse, he's not getting that jolt where you see somebody like Ryan Garcia. When he smacks people, he gets a grunt, but it's all about speed. He doesn't shift them. Eddie Hall moves Jesse, but he does it not by sharp, crisp technique. He does it by drawing his arm back, and even when he gets to 100% power, literally stepping away, running in, and swinging. So yes, while there might be power, please tell me you don't believe that that shot could hit you, right? If somebody's in front of you, and I've sparred with bodybuilders before, and they're kind of here, and they can hardly hold their hands up, so they're just such an easy target, and they're here, and they can't get good rotation and any power because they're too slow. So to get any power, they have to pull back, and that's kind of it, right there. If you cannot see that coming and step away or slip under, something like that, oh, you're struggling. Now, that's not to say that Eddie's not a scary dude. If you put him in the ring for MMA and he gets on top of you or he lands one shot, ooh, it's going to be in for a world of pain. But you should be able to move around and inflict damage in the process. And many people think these big guys are just Godzillas that can't be taken down. But in my experience, and what we're going to see today, is they absolutely can be. They can be hurt much easier than you're going to think. Now, before we go and watch the sparring footage, I want to touch on two additional points. Number one, at the end of the sparring session, spinning side kick right to the stomach. Again, big guys can be hurt. They look scary, but a spinning side kick from somebody that much smaller than him shouldn't be able to hurt him in that way. But let's talk about defense for a spinning side kick. I was just doing a Zoom session this morning talking about this, teaching this to make sure that my client understood. So many people go, okay, my guard's up, my elbows are up here, all I have to do is drop down, right? I see the kick coming and I have to close off this space, just drop. The problem with that, not being anything but a very last ditch resort, is you can see what happens with my head when I do this. My head moves in. So if for some reason they go to throw the kick and it's coming upwards as opposed to straight into the stomach, you're actually running right into it. And even if it doesn't land, and go through your guard, you're meeting that spinning side kick force, which is substantial. So in general, if I see a kick coming, I'm going, oh my gosh, I gotta block it, it's gonna be me doing this sort of drop, as opposed to trying to lean forward and drop those elbows to hips. Two better options though. Option number one, you see the kick coming, you very simply keep this high guard, protect your face, and let your shin and your knee do the rest. And when you lift that up, you've taken the target which they're going to hit and you've jammed it an extra foot forward. They hit with ideal power here, but now this is in the way. So their kick actually kind of gets jammed and it very much decreases the power. Alternatively, I see the kick coming and I step away. But there's only one direction you can step. When I come from here, and I'm gonna kick in this direction, you always have to step in the direction of the heels, not to the direction of the toes. If you step the wrong way, you go right into my foot. You might even help me make it easier. So it's always step in the direction of the heel. Now the next element that I wanna talk about is this forearm conditioning that they're doing, which I used to do because obviously I come from the traditional karate background. So it's taking your arms, boom, 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 and slamming them together against your opponents. You can come from here and then transition up and they meet you, boom, 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 something like that. Or you can do these traditional blocks where you meet, same thing here. Well, to me, it's a pretty useless endeavor to be practicing this type of blocking because it's just not relevant to real fight sports. A good reason to do something like this is forearm conditioning is actually very pertinent in fight sports. Why is that? Because if a big kick comes in and you get hit in the forearm and have never taken a real kick without shin pads on, you're gonna be going, oh my gosh, I'm not used to that, and your arm very quickly will start to die on you. So doing this bang, bang, boom is pretty much the same as doing conditioning down here, but for me personally, I'm more so worried about here as opposed to this because I have a fight style where I keep everything close, but if you're checking like this, yeah, you might take a shin against that one arm and you need to have darn conditioned forearms. So let's go take a look at the sparring footage. All right, let's jump straight into this sparring. First thing we're gonna note is, yeah, they're going at a chill pace, right? They're not trying to kill each other, but look at the size discrepancy between these two guys. And not in terms of height, but in terms of width of body and arm size. Now, most people think that, oh, I'm fighting a big scary dude like this at the gym and oh, I'm gonna get manhandled. But I'm gonna give you a tip at the end on how to beat these guys. And keep in mind that speed is your advantage. So as we watch here, we're gonna see that even though it's slow, oh, look at that nice little teep there. And it's crazy sometimes how these big guys, they don't have great body conditioning. Another little kick there. So I was just doing a private this morning with somebody, private lesson on Zoom, and we were talking about body conditioning. And I was saying, look you can't have good body conditioning, but still think you can just let your stomach relax and take it. No, it's absolutely about being able to maintain tightness. So as you approach, as Eddie approaches and goes to punch, he cannot be relaxed here. And this is something you can practice just sitting on a chair. You tighten your stomach 50% and just hold it. Breathe normal. Know that you're protected, and then tighten 100% for a moment. Tighten, and then relax back to 50. And just maintain that, and that's what you need to do as you're sparring. But Eddie's obviously not doing that very well because he shouldn't be getting hurt like that, right? He moves forward and he's going into the kick as he's punching. He's just getting tapped, but it's still breaking him down. Now back to what we were talking about before. Because it's a slow spar, because they're just chilling, it's advantageous for Jesse because Eddie can't use any of the strengths that he has, which is obviously stuff like big power, manhandling him, roughing him up. But these guys are slow. They're so very slow. And even though they can hit hard, it's not something in my experience that you need to really be scared of. I'm much more scared of somebody technical who has 10, 15 pounds on me who's really good, as opposed to somebody who has like 150 pounds on me but punches half the speed. So we're back in here. Just a little touch of that knee. It doesn't take much. If you don't know how to condition that body, it does not take much. Oh, look at this sweep. Oh, he went down hard there. Oh, let's see if they give us another replay, and then we'll talk about what happens when you throw somebody down that size. Oh, Jesse looks a little embarrassed. Catches himself, but then skips. It's like his hand skipped across. Look, guys, balance is everything. And these big guys, number one, they can get hurt very bad by not knowing how to break fall well. But number two, not having the ability to make adjustments. So we saw Eddie catch himself, but then his hands just stayed stuck to the floor and his head kept going. It's the same thing if you are getting thrown and your feet plant, you adjust once. Then you keep letting your head lead. You have to adjust your hands if they're on the floor or your feet if they're on the floor as many times as necessary to stay in front of yourself actually falling. And work your break falls. Like, oh, I get swept, boom, I come down. Can you imagine this dude hitting the floor without a good break fall? He'd knock the wind out of himself. Let's move on here. Okay, a little glove touch there, back into it. I mean, it's just such a chill, relaxed, nice pace that it does really suit Jesse, but it's fun to watch. And oh, nice little jab there. So see, Eddie can get some stuff done. He almost got swept again. It's obviously, woo, a high kick. He got that high kick up there. Good, not bad for a big dude. Now it came kind of vertical as opposed to coming across horizontal. Let's see it here, slow motion. Yeah, it's like it came up and kind of brushed him. But I think, look at, he's got a little bit of a scuff there, which that reminds me, always people. People. Fingernails, toenails, clip them, keep them short. I got cellulitis from a little toenail that scratched me there, and yeah, you can get pretty sick if you don't get in and treat something, but they're just little scuffs, so you don't even notice them. All right, back at it here. Again, not bad for a big dude though. Like for somebody like Eddie Hall, like he's not super tall, like only 3 inches taller than me, but to be able to get his leg up to that height, I'm impressed. Not the most beautiful kick ever, but still, I'm impressed. All right, once again, they're back at it. I mean, Eddie moves his hands well enough in there, but you notice he does not rotate very well through the trunk of his body. And he's just very stiff, even when he's blocking. It's kind of like the arms are moving, but there's not the rotation. And having that ability to rotate is so very important. Better action there. I mean, imagine this dude deadlifting over 1,000 pounds. That's wild. Oh, that spin inside kick. Those ones, man, we've already talked about how to deal with it, but you need an answer because you're going to fight somebody or spar somebody at some time in your life who has a good spin kick, and you want to know exactly how to deal with it. They throw it once. If they land, they're going to throw it again. Shut it down and make sure that you just nullify it. Now, hopefully you guys enjoyed that and you got to see, okay, size difference, extra muscle, extra strength, how much does it matter? Well, granted, these guys aren't going that 100% where it really would help Eddie Hall, but for sparring in the gym, it is the speed and the accuracy and the placement and the timing of Jesse that obviously is very superior for a good 30–40% sparring session. So let's call it there, and I will see you guys back here soon for another video.